Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Muslim Philanthropy Podcast. My name is Muhi Khwaja from American Muslim Community Foundation. And today we are pleased to have on Dr. Sohail Masood. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. All right. So I'll read your biography just because I want to do you justice. And thank you so much for taking time to be here with us. Dr. Sohail Masood received his Doctor of Pharmacy from University of Southern California in 1988. He completed his pharmacy residency at Brookdale Hospital in Brooklyn, New York in 1989. He is the founder and chairman and CEO of Kaaba Fusion. Kaaba is the largest privately held, independently owned home infusion company in the US, valued at more than $1 billion by Novo Holdings of Denmark. Dr. Masood is a serial entrepreneur with several businesses built over the last 30 years. In 1992, he established Crescent Healthcare with his wife, Mona Masood. And Dr. Masood received several awards, including the most prestigious Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the Greater Los Angeles area in 1999 for Crescent. And he then received a second award in the Regional Entrepreneur for Kaaba Fusion in 2017. Dr. Masood won Ernst & Young's National Entrepreneur of the Year award for Kaaba Fusion in 2023. And he's also received Most Distinguished Alumni Award for USC and a Lifetime Achievement Award from National Home Infusion Association. Dr. Masood lives in Weston, Massachusetts with his wife, Mona, and children, Layla and Umar. Umar has Down syndrome, and as a self-advocate, he's active in the Down syndrome community. Recently, he met with President Biden and Vice President Harris, where President Biden called him out and praised him for his work with disabled communities. Umar owns a comic bookstore in Lexington, Massachusetts called Umar's World of Comics. Thank you so much, Dr. Masood, for being here, and I'm sure we'll hear about your family and more about Kaaba Fusion and Crescent Healthcare. So would love to just hear from you in your own words more about your journey in setting up the work that you've done, but more importantly, what it's enabled you to do in the community work as well. So feel free to share more about your upbringing and entry into setting up Kaaba Fusion.
Thank you. So just one correction that recently we went from Novo to Nordic in the valuation of the company was gone to $2.2 billion. So this is our latest.
That's an important update. Yeah. Not just a few decimal points, but yeah.
So I came from Pakistan in 1981 as a student. I did my undergraduate at USC and then getting my doctor of pharmacy. And those times were really tough. It was myself, my brother, and I had a couple of cousins, but we were all very poor. We had barely enough money to pay for the school and the rent. I remember for almost a year, my lunch used to be a Snickers bar at the school. And at home, we used to eat sloppy Joe, just get it and put some onions in it and use the white bread, the Wonder Bread, and we will eat it as dinner. In those days, there were very few Pakistani families that I knew. Most of the people we knew were like us. They were single students working hard and making things happen. So there was not a whole lot of learning from other people. And once I became successful and got involved with the community a little bit more, I made sure that I am training and hand-holding the young people of our community if they need anything, any suggestion, any comments. Crescent was my first company in 1992 when I started with Mona, my wife. We grew that company from zero to 100 million in 12 years, and we became the largest swimming infusion company in California. And same thing there, which I do now in Kaaba. We hire people from Pakistani descent. We hire a lot of Muslim members in our management team. Definitely, they're qualified to be in the position they're in. But on top of that, they're also Muslims and they're from either Pakistan or some other Muslim country. My wife Mona is from Syria, so we also have a lot of Syrian people working for Kaaba Fusion right now. So the main the change that happened in me was really when my son Omar was born and realizing the people with the special needs and their struggles and our struggles as parents to find things for him. Really, that was really a turning point for me. Second turning point was really when I took my mom for Hajj, and that was in year 2000, and kind of brought me much closer to my religion and to understand more about Islam and how to practice it, how to live a better Muslim life and those kind of things. So there was the same awakening that awakened me with Omar's special needs was also the needs of the community in general, American community, and in particular the Muslims in America. And another event that changed my life was the 9/11 happening in 2001. Before that, I had very limited involvement politically with the politicians in California, but from that point on, I became very actively involved in politics and supporting different candidates and making sure that there is a involvement of Muslim organizations with the politicians, local politicians. So in California, I was very involved, and then from there on, went on to become more involved with the national politics. So that kind of led me again to another way of supporting the community, and that is supporting the political candidates who had a soft heart for the Muslims in America and the immigrants in general. So I would say 99.9% of them were Democrats, and I got very involved with the Democratic Party in California, people who were running for elections nationwide. So besides running the organizations, my company, my nonprofit, my children, and special needs and all that. So it's a full life and taught me a lot of things. And I do all I can to help the community, and my record shows for the last 30 plus years that I have supported our community without any pushback or without any personal gains. It was always
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of those pivotal moments in your life that made you think more about community, made you think more about your faith. What would you say are some of the nonprofit organizations that you like to support through your family foundation?
So one thing I learned when I got involved with
What would you say are some of the organizations that you love to support through your family foundation?
So like I said before, as I was getting more involved with the politics in California, I realized that having access through media was very important. Local politicians really appreciated if we could bring them on local TV channel, TV Pakistan, and interview them and all that. So I supported Radio Pakistan, then TV Pakistan organizations. Then there is also an organization called Unity Productions, which is run by two converts, Alex Cronomer and Michael Wolf. And back in 1999, when I first met them, they were just starting the organization. And their first project was called Muhammad Legacy of a Prophet for PBS. So I supported that. And then from then on, we have supported, Mona and I, we have supported many different um, documentaries that PBS, Unity Productions made for PBS. Last one we did was actually a commercial project called Lemia's Poem. And that came at a very bad time when there was COVID. So it didn't do well commercially, but eventually we turned it into something that you can go and watch on TV. So Legacy of a Prophet, there was Prince Among Slaves, and many different documentaries that I made with them. So that was, and that has been my favorite organization that I support. The other ones are one that I started about getting involved about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Actually, time flies, so it's more than that. It was the Worcester Art Museum in Worcester, Massachusetts, and Mona and I again, we are supporting a wing of the museum that has Asian and Islamic art. So we are putting some Quran there, some Islamic art from Persian, and some from the Mughal times, and that's one of the other things I support. Locally, when I was in LA, I supported all the local organizations who were there at that time. But as I moved to Boston, most of my involvement is either at USC, my alma mater, where we do quite a bit of charitable donations, or Worcester Art Museum and Unity Productions. When we moved to Boston, Boston Islamic Center, it's called ISBCC, Islamic Center, Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center, was actually closed down, and there were a lot of liens against the center. Mona and I, we paid off all the liens, and alhamdulillah, that year 2007 or 8, I forgot.
Wow.
The center opened, and that was the first time there were Taraweehs during the Ramadan time, so we were very proud of that. The other local mosques that we support, but I know that a lot of people support mosque and things, but very few people support causes which are not known to the regular folks, and media is really one of them.
Sure.
The last one that we support 100%, and Moon and I, we are very involved in that, is Omar's World of Comics and Hobbies in Lexington, Massachusetts. We have a program with the local Lexington High School, and we especially program kids. They go through 4 days of training per week at the store. We also hire people with special needs to run the place, managers, and different level of employees. So I'm very proud of that. We started in 2017, and then over the years, we expanded it into a much bigger building, and now we have a bistro there, we have comic books, we have tabletop gaming, we have PC gaming. All the meat is halal, so there are a lot of local folks who work in neighborhoods, and I'm told that they have the best burger. The best, and that's the only halal burger that you can find it.
Come for the comics, stay for the burger. All right.
Yes.
Nice. Wonderful to hear about some of the other organizations that you've been fortunate enough to support, and really fortunate to, I'm sure the community also appreciates the support that you've been able to provide. In terms of, with the political climate and also the times that we're living in, definitely there's so much need for support in media. So it makes sense why you've been engaged with that. You've been doing this for decades now. In terms of your experience from being a student to where you are now, what would you say are kind of some lessons learned from that experience, and your ability to make a difference philanthropically, how have those lessons informed your charitable giving?
Very good question. So definitely, initially, a lot of us, we really don't know what to do and where to invest unless we have a case of something that we really feel for it. For example, my son with Down syndrome, somebody with some cancer, and they want to support the cancer causes, or somebody supporting charitable Islamic causes like mosque and other things. For me, media was really, like I said, very important from day one, and I found out that unless we are vocal about our faith and we are vocal about how we want to help each other, the life can be very difficult in a country where you are the minority. So even when I reach the level that I'm at right now in my professional life, my goal always is to keep going back and supporting these causes and making sure that what I learned from doing that. So initially, I didn't really think about it. So I will just, somebody comes to my door and knock it, I'll say, okay, here is a check, there is a check. But then eventually the impact was very limited. And then I realized that I have to focus on my charitable giving. Charity starts at home. So first thing I did in 2004 was when I sold my first company, majority shares, I took most of that money and I helped my siblings pay off their debts and have their home at least debt free and all that. So my goal was I don't want any of my family members to have personal debt. So that was in 2004. And over the years, I still continue supporting my family. I have a large family. They need my help. So these are the circles. So my circle is my family, then second circle is Mona's family, and the third circle is our friends and cousins and nieces and nephews. So there's a big group of that. And then bigger charitable causes, which include Unity Productions and the mosque and the museums and all that. So over the years, I realized where to give how much, because initially that is where a lot of people don't know what is good enough and what is waste of money. So it took me some time to differentiate between what is good enough. And so when ISBCC was closed down, the liens were for like $350,000. That was a big chunk of money, but we paid it because we felt that that will change the future of the center, and it did, and they're still in business. They're doing a great job providing not just the religious services, but outreach to the local politicians. It's right in the heart of Boston. So that's another thing that I look at. How can we improve relationship with the local politicians where when they're making the rules and they're looking at us and saying, oh, I know Sohail Masood is Muslim, and I need to make sure that we don't do something to hurt Muslim community.
Mm-hmm. So definitely, helping family, that's important. Making sure your personal circles are taken care of. That's a great thing to do. And for someone like yourself who has the capacity to do it, I would imagine that there's some level of even feeling good about being able to help and give back, right? So there's like a rewarding experience that you receive as somebody who's giving to help others as well. Can you share a little bit more about some of those motivations and why you have supported, even if it may come off as like, selfish gain, but more so knowing that you're doing good, right? How much of either faith or just the feeling of knowing that you can help others inspires your generosity?
Well, most of my giving really comes from how my mother raised us. My father died when in 1969. He was 42 years old. My mom was 36. And she had 8 kids, and I'm number 6. So I was like 6
Wow.
at that time. We had no money. My father was chief accounts officer for Pakistan Railways. very high position, but no home, no car because he was an honest man and he wouldn't take bribes.
Mm,
He died without leaving a whole lot for us. But I remember even when we were poor, we were, let's say, Safed Posh, there's a terminology in Pakistan, that we barely can pay the bills, but we don't have to be begging and things. So we lived in a nice place in Gulbarg, Lahore. And I remember that there used to be a person who will come and ring the bell. We were on the second floor and he wants to sell us some pictures and paintings. And my mom will tell him, I'm sorry, I don't have money to buy it. But anytime you come, I'll give you food. And then she will make a fresh bread for him, food. And actually she'll give it to us in a tray and we'll give it to him and he will eat and he will leave. And all her life, I saw her doing these little things here and there. Even when we didn't have enough money, she would give it to our more disadvantaged relatives or people coming and doing things, $1 here, $1.
it's beautiful.
That's how I learned to do. And she always told me one more thing, and she said, never, whenever you do charity, never expect a return, because sometimes people will thank you or they may not thank you. But the thing is that if you do something good for people, even if they don't thank you, their intestines are thanking you. The food going into the person. So we
Yeah.
always look at it that way, not just myself, my brothers who are more who are affluent. We all think the same way, that helping other people is very important, but not expecting any rewards and returns.
Yeah.
Anytime you give $1 in my life, I saw $10 coming back. So in that way, I'm greedy. I want to give more.
Beautiful, beautiful reminder, and may Allah reward your mother for that, and um sentimentality and ingraining that in you and your siblings.
Yeah, her picture is right at my.
Oh, beautiful.
There's her smile all her life.
Yeah, yeah, mashallah.
So she
Beautiful.
passed away. She was living with me in 2017. She's buried locally, but I live very close to her.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what inspired the move or being in the Boston community for you?
It's a wonderful community. Very good people here. Uh, LA, I lived in LA for 22 years. For me, LA is still my home. My corporate office, believe it or not, is still in LA for Cabo Fusion. I started in 2010, Cabo Fusion. So I keep going back. Actually, I'm going back in a couple of weeks. But LA, over the years, became very fragmented. The community, there are divisions, there are competitions, there is a lot of showing off, and some things are lost in the last 10, 15 years. Massachusetts, especially Boston community, I don't know, somehow here people are more grounded. Their religion is much better way of practicing and more tolerant in a way. So we go to Wayland Mosque and we just started actually. They didn't have the funeral services, so we are building a place where we can provide the funeral services. So I'm very involved in that organization, and I feel that even as a religious person, I have much better way of practicing it here than it was in Los Angeles. It just became too big. Not just the community, the whole state has come to a point where it became too big for its own benefits.
Sure.
When it's improved, then income tax is very high and all kind of things.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of the local museum and establishing a wing, that's no small endeavor. So can you share a little bit more about how you've seen Muslim-led nonprofits in their efforts in developing relationships with you versus mainstream nonprofits and developing their relationships with you? What are some things that you think have worked well in inspiring you to make those donations?
So American nonprofits are run in a very different way than Pakistani or religious nonprofits are run. I have been on the board of Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress, Blue Mind, another organization in Worcester Art Museum, and many more. Massachusetts Health Council is another one. And I find that they have very clearly defined goals. They have budgets. They have way of collecting money and way of giving it out in charity. When I work with Muslim organizations, my biggest problem is when I give money, I really don't know where did it go. Um, did they really invest in what they are saying, or you know? So that's where I think the Muslim organizations need to be a little bit more organized. They need to have better financial controls. A lot of mosques, as you understand, or you may or may not know, but a lot of them eventually are taken over by people who are shyster, they're not very decent human beings, and they will use the mosque as a place for raising funds for themselves and running it like they're running their own home. So I have a little bit concern about Muslim and non-profit Muslim organization. I love Unity Productions because I know exactly where my money is going and how it will be used.
Good, good. All right. Well, in terms of anything else that you'd like to share from your life, your background, any lessons or about different projects that you're involved in, would love to give you an opportunity to share more.
Thank you. So, like I said, if somebody is just getting into charity giving, they should really come up with a plan. Just like I made my concentric circles and I said, okay, because sometimes what happens is that you're so involved in so many things that you forget that people who are right next to you may need your help the most. And that can be, let's say, your employee and you don't know that that employee is sleeping in the car. And it happened to us, our employee, because her parents moved and she had no place to live, so she was sleeping in the car. We found out because one day somebody saw her crying. So we gave her money until she was able to stand on her own feet. So this is what charity really means. Charity doesn't mean huge projects in big organizations and going and standing in front of cameras and taking your pictures taken and all that. Charity really means understanding the needs of people who will benefit from it. And that's what I have learned over the last 30 some years of doing it, that at the end of the day, start from home, look at local, look at your people, get involved with local politics, get involved with the local organizations. There are a lot of organizations who are looking at diversity. They don't have, I'm the only Muslim guy in all these foundations that I told you about, the non-Muslim ones. Worcester Art Museum, I am the only one. Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress, I'm the only Muslim. In most of places, not just that I'm the only Muslim, I'm the only non-white person. So we need to make sure that we go and we volunteer for these organizations. They're not always looking for money. Sometimes they're also looking for time. And they want to have somebody. And imagine you as a Muslim, as a practicing Muslim, you're sitting in the organizations where they never really knew any other Muslim. The only knowledge they have is from Fox or CNN or MSNBC. Now they have a real person, they have real family. My wife wears hijab, we have Muslim names. I didn't become Sam or anything. I'm still Sohail
Yeah.
and Omar's World of Comics is a building right in the middle of downtown Lexington. Kaaba is the name that I gave because of Kaaba in Makkah. Everybody knows.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
Abraham, so Kaaba Fusion is the name of my $2.2 billion wedding.
I love it. Yeah. You have a immense record of blessings, and I want to, commend you on your vision around philanthropy, because you nailed it on the head in terms of giving back and showcasing Muslims from example standpoint of how we should be ingrained in the community. So I want to thank you for your time, your treasure, your talent, your testimony, your truth, and giving back. I think there's an example here that many people can learn from. So I'm glad that you took some time with me to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Muni. I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, thank you so much. And for being here. Hopefully you found the conversation fruitful, and we look forward to being back again soon.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.